I'm gonna say something bold. Chris Pratt is perfectly cast as Mario, as Mario needed a change for the Mario movie to work at all. And that includes having a fresh new voice for the character in order to uphold the new characterization. Because even though Mario's body made the leap into 3D decades ago, his personality has remained as flat as ever. The only thing you could really tell about him from playing the games is that he's a pretty normal dude that's just having a good time or rescuing princesses. He rarely expresses any emotion beyond sheer joy, besides maybe occasional surprise and mild irritation. And you know what? I still loved him for it. Not every game character needs to be rooted in some deep-seated insecurity, right?
No.
Especially when the Mario games are all about having fun, which doesn't lend itself particularly well to a medium that's all about characterization. Yet, Illumination managed to capture the essence of that 2D caricature while changing him for the better by fleshing out his personality into that of an actual human being. As in, someone with wants and needs and emotions, as we've already broken down. A person who isn't just yelling Yahoo! Every chance that he gets, but one who reacts realistically to his environment. He gets upset, sad, scared, uncertain, depressed, and more. Mario is far more reactive here than he's ever been portrayed in the games, or anywhere for that matter. But one of the few clear traits that Mario has always had is that he's a friendly, outgoing guy. And I love how Illumination managed to fit this element in while allowing him to behave more realistically too. Like how he feels the need to greet almost everyone he meets.
Hello.
Like waving to this toad, or this gorilla in a sports coat, or an entire Kong army, or even a freaking nuclear missile. Hell, even when he's feeling overwhelmed by this crazy mushroom town and literally everyone is staring at him out of curiosity, he still manages to make things right. Like handing this drop coin back to a shocked toad. Let's just ignore it's actually a totally different toad that dropped the coin. It's a small detail, but it goes a long way in showing who Mario is. Someone who cares about others. Yet despite being friendly, Mario isn't a pushover here, and he even has some edge to him. He stands up to Spike and Luigi's behalf without a second thought, and threatens to fight DK for getting on his nerves, which even carries over into the next scene. So while Illumination doesn't do anything too crazy with Mario, they definitely pushed him farther as a character than they could have. And it's easy to see how the movie could have easily fallen apart had Nintendo not allowed as much freedom as they have. I mean, they even gave Mario an entire family, including some daddy-related issues. Could you imagine Disney doing that with Mickey Mouse in a major motion picture? No! I also appreciate that the movie returns to the idea of Mario originally being from our world and not the Mushroom Kingdom, because it reinforces the notion that Mario isn't your typical superhero. In fact, he isn't really one at all. He wasn't bitten by a radioactive spider, or is the chosen one, nor is he a moonlighting billionaire. He's just a completely normal blue-collar guy who rises to the occasion when needed, with his only superpower being his sheer will of determination. And that doesn't just ground Mario as a character, but makes his journey and the lessons to be taken from it more relatable. And that's exactly why Chris Pratt is perfectly cast as Mario. His performance brought both the warmth and everyman quality to the character that the role demanded, which actually makes a lot of sense considering Chris Pratt seems to excel at that archetype. From the lovable office dweeb in Parks and Rec, to a shockingly relatable superhero in Guardians of the Galaxy, to an ordinary guy faced with a moral dilemma in Passengers. In fact, here's a producer for Passengers on why they chose Chris Pratt for the role.
Chris just has such a warmth and such a humorous side of him that he gives you this everyman feel going through this experience.
And sure enough, those are the same qualities that perfectly befit Mario in the movie, because he isn't yet the confident hero we know from the games, yipping and yelling in the face of danger, but instead is just an ordinary guy in an extraordinary situation.
How am I supposed to do that?
He nails the role so well that's personally hard for me to imagine Mario sounding any other way in the movie now. And I say this as one who adored Charles Martinet's more whimsical take on the character in the games. But with the film demanding a younger, more nuanced take, Chris Pratt pulled off the nearly impossible task of bridging what we knew of Mario from the games with where he needed to be for the movie.
Really?
And I also love how the movie addressed this initially divisive change head on, in a way that's both hilarious and ridiculously clever, all by having this guy, who just so happens to resemble Mario from his very first appearance in 1981's Donkey Kong, and is actually voiced by Mario's original voice actor Charles Martinet, agreeing that Mario's exaggerated accent in the commercial, Mamma Mia, which sounds just like Mario in the games, is actually perfect.
Is it too much?
Too much? It's perfect! Wahoo!
It's very charming! And that's not even to mention how Charles Martinet also voices Mario's dad in the movie, making him the literal father of Mario, which is just a really sweet way of paying tribute to a beloved performer of over 30 years. Furthermore, I absolutely love how they portray the relationship between Mario and Luigi. They're never jealous or spiteful of each other, but genuinely love and support one another. Listen to the first words we literally hear them say to each other.
Wow, you were great. I was great. Are you kidding me? You were great.
And at every step, Mario is always there standing up for Luigi, whether against Spike, Francis, or even other babies. But whereas Mario is Luigi's physical protector, Luigi is there for Mario emotionally.
You're not bringing me down.
While coolly offering the plate of food that Mario had walked away from. We believe they miss each other because it's established how close they are and what they mean to one another, which makes the reunion at the end all the more heartfelt. Both times it happens. And it's just really nice to see a positive sibling portrayal. And that's why I appreciate that the movie keeps Mario's focus squarely on rescuing Luigi, rather than trying to shoehorn in a love story. And that brings us to one of the most important changes that Illumination made to the overall narrative, making Luigi the damsel in distress. Yeah, you heard me, but that's gonna have to wait until the next part in our ongoing Mario movie analysis series, which you can ensure you don't miss by clicking that subscribe button and ringing the bell. And in the meantime, if you missed any of the prior 6 parts, be sure to check out the playlist for the entire series on the screen right now. And with that, we'll see you in the next video.